Here we go. And so it begins the day. Koumei day. I don't know what do I call the other one? I don't know. Self-representation has definitely been part of the name of the game over the past week. Our little revelations that we had during Kongming have borne some fruit when you combine them with a little bit of the magic that's going on elsewhere. Kind of cool. Feeling pretty weird. No, not that kind of weird. It's been a while since I've done any kind of drugs. Feeling pretty weird though. Like narratively shaken. That would be the immediate term that comes to mind, obviously, but that's not what I mean. It's not the one. You know when you got a bunch of like magnetic ball bearings and they all sit in one place, and you stop applying whatever force you're applying to them, and they all sort of go wherever, and you figure out new locations or whatever, and then you apply the force again, they all go, they all snap into places. And they could technically even snap into different places than where they were before, but they're all still going to snap in, and they're all close enough to where they were before that there's no worry about them all falling apart completely. It's like that. It's like shaken, but inside a tray with barriers. So all the little bits are going to stay inside the tray, and maybe you could add some things to the tray, maybe you could subtract some things, but that's on you. It's like they're not going to by themselves fall out. That's how I feel about all the parts of my brain. Or the parts of my self-defining world understanding framework of perceptions and patterns that I use to navigate reality, whatever you call that. The cognitive layers on top of your physical cognitive layers. You've got your brain parts that just work, and then you've got all the ways that they work normally, and then you've got the things that you can build out of the ways that they work that work in different ways, and you can like make stuff out of yourself. That's this book will teach you how to do that. It's really quite useful. It works. You make yourself into something else. You build up a set of things. But also stories do that, and like ideas do that, and the thing we talked about previously, actions and responses are really strong and often subconscious at doing that. So I act in a certain way toward the reality around me. It reflects back to me in a certain way, and I either get what I wanted out of that or don't. And that and how it happens anchors me into reality in such a strong way. But it also produces a set of cognitive structures that are built to deal with and handle that circumstance and that situation in that way when it happens that way for whatever reasons you come up with, depending on how you approached it and how you come away from it, right? So, hyper base example, super simple stuff is like, I'm 5, I go up to another kid on the playground and I say, I want to play with your truck, and the kid goes, farts, I hate you, because the kid doesn't know what the word fuck you means. He goes, farts, I hate you, and I go, and I start weeping, right? Okay, I've had a set of interactions there, and something has definitely happened to my experience of reality. And it's like hard rejection. And it's bad, and that needs to be like handled carefully, and I need to be reintroduced into the circumstance where I can go and ask other kids to play. Hopefully by the time I'm 5, I'm actually resilient enough that I'm like, okay, well, farts to you too, bro. I'm gonna go play by myself, and I'm capable of like not being totally rocked by the outside world. But that's not the case, and if you look around at any of the adults around you, that's not the case for a lot of us. Something like that happens and we freak out for like 3 days, right? Or for the rest of our lives, just in tiny blips every time you're like taking a shower or about to fall asleep, right? But I feel like in combination with some Fujimoto stuff. I think he's the one who's opened the door. Open the door. Open the door. I think he's the one who has opened the door here because he's weird, and I think that can break me. When something's like hard to wrap your brain around, you have to stretch your brain. I think that's a good analogy, right? I think that works verbally, and I think it works really, truly, too. The more difficult a thing is for you to wrap your brain around, the more you'd have to stretch it in order to get there. And sometimes you can't, and you just snap, and that's bad. But your brain doesn't really let you do that very much, so you just stretch it really hard, and you're like, ooh, nah. It's kind of like picking up a deadlift. I always tell people this, and they kind of like don't believe me because there's a lot of mythology around deadlifts. For good reason. Lots of people don't know what the fuck they're doing. If you pull with bad positioning, you can hurt yourself off the floor with a weight that's heavier than you can lift. You can just strain against something so hard that, like, you can really hurt yourself. But a deadlift? The weakest part of the deadlift for anyone, like almost anyone, is their hands holding the bar. And there's something really interesting that happens neurologically when you push really hard with everything else against your hands holding the bar. You can't. Like, if the bar's actually too heavy for you to pick up with your hands, you can't exert enough force through your legs, feet, core, back, shoulders, whatever. You can't exert enough force to damage yourself because your hands won't let you. And your hands will actually tell the rest of your body, this is too heavy for me to pick up. And you might strain and push against it and never realize that what you're pushing against is the limit of your hands, right? You're not going to damage yourself by trying to do something that's bigger than you most of the time. You're going to push a little bit against it, and your brain will tell you, nah, that's way too big. It's really often really easy to figure out if something is way too big and overwhelming. If you've bitten off way more than you can chew, right? Then you get that like floaty sense of, uh-oh, I'm in too deep. I'm where I shouldn't be, right? I'm in the hard unknown. And get used to that one, but you don't want to be there all the time immediately. You want to go there in little steps. Little bits of the unknown in little bits and pieces. That makes you strong. And that makes you capable of wading out into that dark water. But when you do push up against something and you stretch your brain, and you're used to stretching your brain in all sorts of different directions, and something new comes along that's something that you haven't experienced, and you start to get to stretch your brain around it, you open yourself up to a more malleable state. And that more malleable state is like taking all the little beads that are your carefully organized cognitive structures and whatever, and just going... And sometimes they'll all just stay right in place, because physics is weird. You know, if you've got a smooth tray and smooth little beads, and they all make sense, they're all sort of locked together a little bit, and you go... And like a pool cue, the setter thingy, just moving the balls around, you'll just hold them in position, and they'll stay exactly where they are. But no tray is perfectly smooth, and no set of ideas is either, so a little bit of shaking and a little bit of added ideas from new places, it feels like I'm opening up in all sorts of ways. It's great. I think I'm in an expansion phase in all sorts of ways too. You can see that I've got a motorcycle jacket back there, which is great. I got it for $38. I got it for $38. It's got all the armor in it and that's great. But I'm riding around town, riding on the streets, going fast. Scary as shit, but that's the fun of it, and it's the pushing past something that I'm actually afraid of, and becoming proficient at it, and I'm pushing through it, and it's really good. It's really cool. So that's happening on that front. And then narratively, things are getting weird because Fujimoto's pretty cool as an author in some interesting ways. And then Koumei, in a weird place, is hitting me with the little bit of a bolster, right? Like the thing that some of those shows do. Koumei, Bocchi, K-On! Before it, many moons ago, Hibike before that. These creative shows about creation. It gets the ideas part in, and the you can do it, gambate part in and I'm frozen. We're back. I've switched USB ports, and hopefully that rectifies or remedies our situation somewhat. I do need a better mount for this. I need it like wall mounted or something so that it doesn't jiggle around every time I do this. Yeah. This is what I've got for now. Slouchy hat. Wry, half-believed smile. Cha-cha. Loose coat lets me be. Cha-cha. Cha-cha. Classic hand hider. Kilter. And then behind the railing. I should have done this angled out. Yeah, like that. I can still fix it. Yeah. Oh shit, if it's a hand hider hoodie, it's not a zip up. Oops. Oh well. And behind that are his features, not hers. And that curly hair sure does curl down devilishly, doesn't it? Just enough to take her face away. Put a mask in its place. Welcome to show business. In fact, I think that might be our title here exactly. Welcome to show business. That's odd that I just drew that. I did not intend to draw that. I do not want sympathy for this fucking guy, and yet I've drawn tears coming out of the mask. Maybe they're hers, but they feel like they're his. It's weird, with one color they sort of get lost in her hair. In fact, I'll make that effect come through. Dark eyes still crying, huh? That produces this, like, refractive feel. That takes me where I wanted to go with this. That's not what I wanted to draw behind her. I just wanted to draw the, like, azalea mask or something. But that ended up being what it is. That's pretty cool to me. I think that's much more interesting. I also wanted to actually draw in her face, you know? But instead, she's ended up becoming like she's just glitching out and clinging on more to the clothing. Like, the pieces of her that feel most real are actually the sweatshirt and the pants and the hat. It's like she's clinging on to the bare minimum of what's left in order to feel like she can go out there and do her thing. And really, it's all, we can be compassionate about it because it's all this guy's pain eventually. But he's just letting all that pain trickle down from him to someone else, making it someone else's problem, really, right? That's not okay. Is it? That's a cool piece. I think welcome to the business, or welcome to showbiz. Welcome to showbiz. 9/26 20. Cool. And that's our piece for the day. I'm collecting a lot of these. Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here for Koumei. Paripi Koumei! It's been 3 days since they left me here on the moon. Oxygen reserves are at 50%. That would be alright. But they didn't put a fucking no fog filter in my visor. I can't see shit. I swear I am not vaping in here, officer. I swear. So as you can tell, I may have purchased some motorcycle gear. Yeah. And I thought after our conversation about self-representation, I'd actually put it on camera and show you what I got, and then I'll tell you why I got it. I like this color yellow. In fact, I really like this color yellow a lot, but that's not why I got it. I like the armor in this thing. It has all the armor pieces in it, and they're crash rated, and they'll do it. Same with the mesh. It's pretty nice and breathable. It's not too bad. It's like a little bulky. Makes me look like a football player or like I'm actually way buffer than I am. But with tailbone padding and a full spine protector with 2 layers to it and dual layer, dual density armor on all the major joints and articulated through the shoulders and elsewhere, I feel pretty protected wearing this thing. With the minor exception of my rib cage and sternum, which has no protection at all, and I'm a little bit worried about. But they do make roost protectors and things for stuff like that. And I'd rather have the spine protector and no chest protector than a chest protector and no spine protector, if you know what I mean. I'd like to keep my spine. Helmet's alright. It is that brand that I talked about before. Oh, yeah. The one with all the fun colorways. It just happens to be one in one of the 3 traditionally available motorcycle colors. Black, white, and gray. Or silver. This is their bottom of the line helmet. And it's okay if it... I'd like to upgrade. But I've got a full set of protective gear. I went to a thrift store yesterday and I bought a set of motorcycle pants that are in my size for like $15 as well. But why did I buy this piece of gear, this jacket, this helmet? What was the reasoning? Was it to look cool? Or because it's got the best protective ratings? It doesn't. It is ECE rated, but it doesn't have the most modern rating. And that's probably why I got it, for the reason that I actually got it, which was that I bought it for $60. Yeah! This thing was open box on a major motorcycle retailer store. No cosmetic wear, no dings, no dents, for about a third of its opening normal price. So it was $60 for this helmet. Fits like a glove, motorcycle rated helmet, color that I'm more than okay with because it's best for visibility. Excellent. Went on eBay, looked around. A Joe Rocket mesh motorcycle jacket, full pads, my size, $38 including shipping. So I copped them both. And now I've got all the gear that I need. They happen to be gear that I really like the colors and the feel and the self-expression of. But if I had all the money in the world and all the choice in the world, they're not what I would have chosen. What I ended up choosing was that rare combination of acceptable style and extremely expedient pricing and availability. I just happened to go looking for motorcycle helmets, and there was this one and a black one just like it. And I went, well, that's $60 for a helmet. And when I'm looking at like 15-year-old helmets on Craigslist for that much, and they're gonna crack like an old egg because plastic degrades. So a brand new helmet for a third of the price of a brand new helmet. Great, I can run this thing into the dirt. This jacket's not brand new, but it's alright, and I like it, and it fits me, and it works, and it was $38. That's pretty good too. But then there is one thing that I didn't buy, particularly because it was expedient. And that's this beauty. Heavy leather, perforated in all the important places, heavy where you want it to be, zip out liner so that you can wear it while it's warmer, but not that warm. Spots for all the pads, custom zippers for all the things. It's just a lovely chunk of leather, really. It's a really, really gorgeous jacket. And that I got because I wanted it, and it was expedient. Because this thing was also open box, new with tags. And it looks like somebody bought it, put it on, decided it didn't fit them, and sent it back. And because they did that, this $260 jacket came to my door for $59. And it's going to be my jacket for the next 15 years. And it fits me perfectly. I like the color. I like everything about it. So, what have I learned? That's tough. After a fair process of evaluating options, I decided that I probably wanted certain things in certain categories. Once I knew what those categories were, and decided what range of things I would be okay with, all I had to do was go and look for them. On eBay, start searching for jackets in size small that happen to be motor. Whoa, look at that. There are like 4. And they're different colors and different price points a little bit. But as soon as I started looking, and actually looking for what I wanted, it was very easy to find it. That's not always going to be the case, but it has been for everything that I've been looking for, including like weird rare things, like an electric unicycle for nicely well under $1,000, and preferably like a solid starter model that'll take me up to mid-range. Oh look, there's one on Craigslist, and the dude just dropped the price by $150. Hey, that's nice. But it was the looking for it that got it for me. So, again, like the bike from before, how much stuff is out there that is just there for you if you were looking for it and were willing to like actually commit to what you wanted in some sense. Because when I started out and I wasn't sure what I wanted at all, it was just a mishmash of unknown. And I had to really do this week of sort of half soul searching, half research, half iterating and considering in my mind what it might be like to have this or what that might be used for, and reading through forum posts and Reddit threads of people talking about what's best for protection and what's best for like breathability and what's best for comfort and what they like stylistically and all these things. And at the end of it all, I ended up going for what could have on the tin looked like just obviously the most expedient option. That is the cheapest motorcycle armor jacket that I could find in my size, the yellow one. That was the cheapest full face, relatively like name brand helmet that definitely is actually what it is from a major retailer that I could find in my size. By far the cheapest and probably the best in protection. But I don't think I would have gotten there and made the choices for the reasons that I made them if I hadn't gone on the whole journey of trying a bunch of different things, at least internally, at least looking at and evaluating a bunch of different options. You know, looking at particular types of knee braces and knee guards and elbow braces and elbow guards, and eventually deciding that I want an all-in-one protector, that I want like a jacket that I can put on and take off easily. That kind of thing. What do I want? And then once I knew what I wanted, I was able to find it. And I was able to find it at a price point that was reasonable to me, which is pretty cool. But then when it comes back to the self-representation styling, it's what I'm willing to represent myself as through the filter of what I can and am willing to afford, right? Because there are some cool helmets that are like, well, that's really neat. Oh, it's $1,200 because it's an AGV with they made like 5. Oh, okay. So even if I wanted to represent myself using a product like that, I couldn't, and that's part of the power of that product. And I didn't really understand that. I've always understood, Humvees. I think Hummers are a good example of this because it's just it's a horrible bloated machine that doesn't. It's a horrible bloated machine that doesn't succeed at anything. It doesn't succeed at anything. I remember going to a car show when I was relatively young and going around and talking to the guys at the Dodge Viper booth and talking to the guys at the Hummer booth. Just talking about what their car is for. Like, what does it do well? They're like, well, it's really expensive. That's what it does well. it really burns through a lot of gas very quickly. As far as uh, a machine for turning dinosaurs into nothing, into not torque, Hummers are great. They can turn it into torque too, and they can ride off road too, but that's not why you're buying a Hummer, right? So, in the same way, that's not why you're buying an AGV, whatever, super mega helmet. It's because it's got that price tag on it. But whole realms of self expression are cut off because of finance, which is interesting. Hadn't really considered that. Yet, I think in this one specific category, which is a niche market, and yet, with a couple $100, I think almost anyone of almost any size could access almost any both protective level, like level of protective gear, and almost any self-expression format or color scheme or style within a reasonable price range in a niche market. So that's a little bit mind-blowing to me because I didn't, again, I'm not a fashion-conscious person. I just buy shirts that are cheap and sort of fit me, and that's like as far as I go with it, right? So for somebody like me to then explore a niche market, not even the major market, a niche market like motorcycle gear, and discover that within the price range of affordable-ish, especially if you're willing to go used, spend a little bit of time looking at closeouts or open box things or last season's gear or stuff like that, one can get fully kitted out to their expectations and desires. Full leather Harley style gear, not Harley Davidson gear, mind you, but Harley style gear within a couple $100. Full, like, moto suit speedster gear within a couple $100. Red, yellow, dark blue, Kawasaki green within a couple $100. You can just do it. That's just accessible to you. And that indicates something about the breadth of our markets at present. And it comes back to the sort of idea that I was talking about in the episode about how much of a market there is for a lot of things. And I caught a couple of comments from that video that were, I think, right in that they called me out for survivorship bias. But I think wrong in that they use that to deny the point. Because the actual point is that the market is broad and varied for everything. That there is not only like a market for everything on the production side, but a market for everything on the purchasing side. So if you're going out there seeking something in the marketplace, you can find it probably. And if you can't find it and you make it, probably you'll be able to sell it because the market's that big. Even a niche market like motocross or BMX gear or motorcycle gear. Again, not that niche a market, but compared to car ownership, it certainly is. It sure is. Compared to just shoes, for example. Everybody got feet. Most people don't have a motorcycle. They don't need motorcycle boots. And yet, there's a vast variety of motorcycle boots. At varied price points. Varied levels of quality. Does that mean that the market is oversaturated? No, it means that it's competitive and continuous. It means that it's functioning properly. And I think that reflects on the broader market in a lot of ways. I think a lot of it is functioning really well. There are some sectors that are not. And there's some weird shit going on that's really fucking with everything because of the hyper acceleration of new media and the stuff that I do and stuff beyond the stuff that I do by 10 generations already. It's gone. It's off to the races, man. Lost to time. We're not going to be able to catch up. If you feel like everything's been speeding up and you're just waiting for it all to make sense again, it won't. It won't. It'll keep getting weirder and weirder. And that's okay. But I think in that world, what we're moving toward is a world of incredible abundance on every front, where if you can produce anything that even feels a little bit like value, I mean anything, really, anything that feels even a little bit like value, you can make it, man. You can really make it. And you don't need to kowtow to some manager or somebody who thinks they know better than you do in order to do it. Because to some extent, idiot though you are, and you are, you're human. You're like a tiny little monkey. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, me too. Idiot that you are. There are a lot of idiots out here, and a lot of them are kind of like you, and they might think the way that you do. And so, whatever you end up making, it might appeal to them. Even if it doesn't, you don't understand why. Just make something that appeals to you. And then it might actually appeal to other people as well. Because that honest pleasing of self is something that a lot of people don't have the balls to do. Or the courage to do, I should say. I shouldn't gender it, right? The courage to do. The courage to say, I like that and I want more of it. I don't know what I like. Do I like caviar? Well, it sure is expensive, and the waiter said I did, so yeah, this salty fishball stuff sure is great. Yummy, yummy. But do you like caviar? How do you know? Do you like oysters? How do you know? But it's like, if you make what you like, other people will like it too, because you're not alone out here. Even the people with the weirdest palates and taste buds in the whole world, there are other people who are like them. Mostly. So if you've got weird fucking taste in music and you happen to like, and that sounds like dope to you, that actually did sound pretty dope to me. I don't normally do that. Then, you know, maybe find music like that, or if you can't, then you're like, damn, there should be music like that. Then you should go and make music like that, and probably there are like a bunch of other people who go, yeah. Sort of like raising your hand in class when you have a question, and 20 other people in the class go, oh. Yeah, you're not alone here. All our brains sort of work similarly. So if you like a thing, there's a chance that other people do too. And if you want a thing, there's a chance that other people do too. And if you want to make a thing, there's a chance there are other people who will use it. But you need to find them, and you need to be able to market to them, and you need a mode of taking the money from their wallets and putting it in yours. Let's not fuck around. That is what it is, right? That is what it is. You have to get them to purchase something from you, or donate money to you, or subscribe to you, or something. Or you can do it really inconveniently, brokenly, and weirdly, and get a third-party corporation to pay you a few pennies every time they look at your value thing, which is weird. It's like a toll gate on your value proposition. Very strange to me. I don't like that at all. But a lot of people do things that way. I think, in light of last week's episode, I think pretty seriously that if you have any creative spirit to you, you should really nurture it now, because we're missing it. We lack it everywhere. It's really lacking. That honest, truthful ability to turn your honesty into creation, whether that's to speak your mind about how you think a thing should be, whether that's our government or our prison system, which there's been an argument about in my Discord, or technology or dating apps or whatever it is that's got your goat. The ability to speak honestly about it is of value, I think. And the ability to create honestly, regardless of whether you're criticizing or just bolstering or creating or whatever, is a real big value. Big value. Much good. We need more of it. And you can make it off of it, because there is really, really, really a lack of it. I hope that this comes off neither as like self-help bullshit, nor as encouraging people to go down the same roads that I've gone down exactly, because that's not really what I would encourage. I'm me, and I found my road. That's cool. Find yours. I don't care what it is. Find it. Find a thing that makes your heart sing a little bit. makes you feel like a human who's doing the thing, whatever that thing is, and then do that and try to figure out a way to make that a part of your whole experience. And if you can eventually make it your whole experience, that would be really cool. And if you could do like 3 of those separately and make them all chugging parts of your whole experience, that would be super duper cool. And then I think the whole world would benefit from your creative energy, from the businesses that you start, from the music that you make, from the poetry that you write, from the drawings that you draw, whatever it is. I think the whole world would benefit from them, and you would benefit in turn, because you actually are a part of the whole world, and it would be nice to have your input. But again, I think a lot of people are lacking the courage to do that, and that's unfortunate. I think the lack of courage is much more common than the actual failure. Way more common. And so, yeah, survivorship bias. Yeah, true. But so many people could make it who don't try, ever. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. One thing that anybody can do in almost any market is vote with dollars. And I think that's a really powerful viewpoint. That the dollars that you choose to spend on things are practical, real, literal votes for a particular product, a particular way of making products, a particular company, a particular service, a particular creation, a particular creator. And yeah, this is the Patreon show, right? Like, if you give me $1, you're voting $1 toward the creation stuff that I make, and it helps me survive. And if I get enough of them, it helps me grow, and it helps me become more stable and more sturdy and more likely to continue doing this, because the value proposition on my end becomes even better for me, which is awesome. That's super great. And so you'd be voting with your dollar. But the same goes for a motorcycle jacket or the stack of paper that you buy. You know, a while ago, I bought a really nice ream of really thick paper, about halfway through it. But I voted for this paper by buying it. And I voted by paying a premium for premium paper. And I made that vote because I use these for making paper pals. And you can see that Ibiki and Tsubasa and Chris all look really crispy and look really nice. And that's because they're made out of this paper. You can see that this thumbs up is not as nice. And that's because it's not made out of this paper. So why is it important that I voted for that paper? Well, overall, market-wise, I'm more likely to get more products like it. So even if I don't have creative energy or contributive energy in that sense, as long as I produce something that somebody gives me money for, so labor, right? Digging ditches, all right? You dug some ditches, now you get a stack of power. And you can use that power to vote for the things that you need and want. If you don't have enough of it, you can only vote for the things that you need at the lowest price that you can get them, mostly. So beer and cigarettes, the important things, food and such. But if you have a little bit more and you've got a little bit more leeway, you actually have power to vote. You can vote for healthy food. Just go into the supermarket and buy it, or the farmer's market and buy it from the fake farmers, or the straight to the farm and buy it. You voted for it. I can vote for quality ranching if I want to. There's a place just down the street from me. It's about a mile and a half away. They graze their cattle up north near Mount Shasta. It's all marketing, but they are real grass-fed, free-range ass cattle, and you can buy them by the quarter cow or the half cow or bits and pieces as you want. So if I want to go and I want 20 pounds of grass-fed ground beef at a particular fat concentration, I can go and vote for it. It'll cost me 3 times more than the stuff in the supermarket, but I can go and vote for it, and I'll be supporting that company, and I'll be buying their cow, and I'll be buying their product, and I'll be supporting them. And that does work. And the company won't exist unless you vote for them. So what do you want to see in the world? What do you want to see in the world? Cheap garbage, plastic, disposable, destructive, hateful, cruel, usurious, exploitative, overpriced Humvees? What do you want to see in the world? Sexy, faceless, exploited, mask on, owned and operated by some bigwig idol groups? Or bands playing their heart out? Well, you can go and vote for it. So even if you can't create, if you rail against the system that doesn't support artists, and you don't go to live shows for small artists, then you're just sitting sucking your own dick. Like, you're fucking around. That's bullshit. And if you want to contribute to the system, one of the really powerful ways that you can do that is to actually contribute to the system by voting financially for the people who can't support themselves financially and changing that, right? Because that business doesn't operate unless it has customers. So you could be a customer. It's one of the cool things about our whole market is you can be a customer. And you can choose where you go. And not in an asshole sort of, well, I'll take my business elsewhere sort of way, but like, well, if you want a thing, spend 10 minutes doing some research and find a good thing that you're okay with the way that it's made and whatnot, and then vote for it. And you can vote like every day, or anytime you purchase anything, or every time you eat food. You make choices like that constantly if you live in a market economy, and almost all of you do. In fact, I venture to say all of you do. Anyone watching this. You're voting right now on the YouTube economy with your views, although I don't dip my toes into that because I don't have advertising on here. So instead, I ask you to vote with your money. And it works. I think because I'm straightforward about it. I think because it makes sense as a value proposition. But we make the same trade all the time with more layers, with more obfuscation. It's really important that I think it's very empowering to realize how much power you have. And if your wallet is empty and your bank account is empty, you suddenly feel like you're powerless, and that's because you are. That's because that's what that means in a market-driven economy. That's a bad place to be, no bones about it. It is bad to be broke in a market economy, and you will get fucked. It is not a great place to be. But if you can climb out of that, everything runs pretty smoothly in an interesting way. How do you climb out of that? Ooh, that's harder. You got to produce something of value for other people, and you have to be in a position where they're not just going to take it from you, because they will, and that they have to pay you fairly for it. So you need regulations, and you need a job of some kind in order to at least smooth it over until you can make things out of making things yourself and producing some personal form of value. Really interesting. I haven't thought about this stuff in a while, because this is stuff that I figured out and then squared away, because I'd figured out the basis of the channel, and then I'm just going to run on the channel for a while. But again, everything has been shaken, so I'm thinking about everything again. I'm thinking about finance, I'm thinking about spending, I'm thinking about products, I'm thinking about all sorts of things, and letting them rearrange themselves. The story of giving away your heart in order to survive, as Azalea does, is an old one, and a sensible one, and a good one. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. So many people do it. And I've seen so many regretful old fucking men who wished they hadn't. Who hold on to that pain and put it out back into the world over and over for the rest of their lives. because they never did. I hate it. We found out that Nanami is Azalea's front woman, and we really did focus on it, didn't we? The gauntlet has been thrown down. We know that we are enemies, but we hope that we could be friends. Oof. Oof. And now we have a reason to sing, a reason to use our own voice and a purpose behind it that's particular and driven, but also broad and repeatable. And that's pretty darn cool. I think she gets it. So, what is this episode gonna be about? Because, I don't know. We sort of have crossed a threshold in terms of our character's primary development, and crossed a threshold in terms of setup for the conflict that I think will be what we're moving toward in the finale of 2 episodes. So what's this one? This one's in a weird place, because usually it's the last 2 that are a thing. I don't really know. Let's watch episode 10 and we'll find out what Koumei has in store for us. I'm excited. I think that last episode was a step back up. You know, you had like a really high start, and you can't maintain that. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna drop down, and then like in the way that we talked about, when you take a thing and you sort of slow it down, and then you build it back up. We're back in the build up. I think if we do this properly, then we're in the build up now, starting with the last couple of episodes as they slow built the emotional tension up to a big climactic reveal moment thing interaction, becoming for Eiko, and that was a big pow up to the top again, and then what? Do we just keep going? Yeah, if this were Sympho Gear, and it is. Hi, Hibiki. Hi, Hibiki. And it is. Reach her! Reach her with my voice powers of my song. So it is Sympho Gear. Then we would just build all the way through. Straight toward continuous climax finish. And have tension all the way through the final 2 episodes. Which means that our last pit stop point is after this episode, which means that even if I get cliffhanged, I'm not watching more, because the cliffhanger will lead me into the next 2 completely, and I want to space them out a little bit. So, we're going to watch episode 10, and we'll see what the heck it has to do with anything. It might all be about finally clicking for Kabe and Eiko all coming together, and the Steve Aoki doing all the production and stuff and making it all click, and having that come together, and then we teased the full creation thing, and it's like, oh, it sounds so good. Cut to ED, and then it's like, oh, I gotta watch more in order to find out what they do at the actual performance. Then we save the performance for the big performance. I don't freaking know. I'm always wrong about these things, so we'll just watch the episode and we'll find out. Episode 10 of Koumei. Glorious Things. Beep beep timer. Just trying to see if my microphone picks up my headphones. Ooh, you don't leave commoners behind, man. Tamixa. Tamixa. Mm-hmm. Shikashi. Cha-chan. I gotta switch. Ah. She couldn't say it, though. Gotta be able to speak your truth, man. Oh. A new stage. What is new stage? What is new stage? Is that Idolmaster? I only know because of Dojins. This is one of the best OPs. Period. I really hope that other shows take the hint and do fun dance OPs. Because they're so fun and they're doable. Just go after a music video, man. Frame all your characters as though they're in a music video. K-On! Had it done. They had it done, man. It was made. Excellent. KBK 2, but to a different extent in weird, sexy ways. Ooh, we up high. Dorima. Music festival in Tokyo. Hey, they're selling Tide. Tiki tiki bum bum. Aww. When you go to the places where your exes and you hang out. Mm. Mm. She's falling apart on this side. Let me have the pain. Oh, ah. You're causing problems. Oh, so gross. Mmm. Mmm. The me part. The me part. Oh. A hot girl. No. Let's go. That might be what our episode's about. Mmm. So she'll be settling things on one side, and he'll be settling them on the other? Mm-hmm. 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 Her own self-representation robe. And his in the sweatshirt. Nice. Cuts. Oh, this is all just gonna be a cute episode, isn't it? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Ah. Upward they go. Aw, I'll cover. Oh boy. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's all just puh. What are we looking at in there? What was that? Was that the outfit, the street performing outfit? I don't know. It was pretty good. Play. You're in. What an asshole way to say you're in. Yes. Careful. Oh, here we are again. You gotta name a thing. Naming it gives you power. Both. There's a good looking wheel. No. Oh, the light hurts my eyes. I'll just stay here in the darkness. It's right on the nose and I like it. I like it a lot. Dartboard. There definitely is such a thing as too much prep. There definitely. Sounds like a field. Oh. Opening the truck. The fuck you say? The alternative is being without me. There's no other option. Right, you've ceded that. You could have. She could have. Well, we're gonna do it from here, huh? So we're gonna do this from afar? Yeah, his homies. I hope we've got his homies there. Knees weak. Oh, so heavy. His mama on a sweater already. Mama spaghetti. He's nervous. But on the surface, he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting. Yeah, get it out. Do we have a bathroom pre-run-in with Sekitoba Kung Fu? That's you! That's you! That's you! That's you! That's you! Demo, that's me! That's me! That's who I am! I'm a homie from the streets. Let's go. Okay, that too. Yeah, right. And both. Oh, I wanted a bathroom run-in. Thank gosh. Sekitoba is, like, so pleased. Ah. Awesome. Who cares? It doesn't matter who wins. It's just great, right? That's important. Excited, not nervous. Excited, not nervous. So we're way lower budget for this episode. And yet, that's still pretty cool. They've still got the effort into the rhymes. It's great. Bush, bush to bing bang. That was a cool crowd shot. Awesome. Yeah, he sure is. He's being himself for real. But what? He just went in a flow. Slow down. Time slows down. That's so cute. That's cute. Once more, my friend. Good buddy, you smoked me. Baller. Aww. Sick. That's sportsmanship. Unheard of, though. Dude, he just wants to walk away. Aww. Aww. So we get a seeding of the victory on one side, but we can't do that on the other side. Nanami can't just, like, as Azalea say, I don't want to do this anymore. Can she? But what if she could? What if she were to go up on stage, just take the mask off and be like, I want to sing one of our real songs? Hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that line about a scholar that you don't see for 3 days. Don't underestimate the rate of progress of a human brain. Hell, you can do it with me. You can go back a week and I'm a different person. Then a week before that, a week. Oh, someone else. Eyes front. Awesome. He full trusts. He thinks they're gonna one take it or something. We're gonna fucking one take it. Whoa! It's music! Wow! Hey, it sounds really titty in here. Sounds like crap. Production man. On the first take, man. Yeah, of course. It's cool. Hmm. Hmm. Fair enough, Koumei. But then it is again backed by that supreme confidence in her ability. Do it! Will she sing? Oh, she'll sing. We had a bunch of time. Ah, so we're going up, down, up. What? Did he just get detransportified? No, his job here is done? No! Maybe it's just a dream. Maybe he just passed out. Maybe he just passed out. That was all a dream? Oh, these are memories. Ah! What? So maybe some famous quote of his is actually attributable to this circumstance? This is his lord and master. Oh, and the music is the music. Wakakimi. We meet at last? This is their first meeting. Tamiksa. Yeah, sick. A dope. Doka. In this lifetime and the next. So he did just pass out. But that gives us the excuse to not show the song. Literally, yeah. Oh, how kind. No, that was great. That was great. That's real. That's really cute that we get to build it up without showing it. Ugh. All right. Cute. It continues. Oh. Oh. We've still got more time, yeah. So we are listening to it. I didn't think we would be. Then why did we just do all of that? If what? Oh, is this the blast for the concert thing? So just a lull between beats, eh? Then we'll hit it hard in the next one. Oh, if only we could be friends. Why can't we be friends? Ooh, what's it gonna be called? Oh, yeah. That'll do it. I wonder what'll change. Maybe Sekitoba Kung Fu will roll through. Alright, this was cute. That's good. I think momentum-wise, it works really well, because we had that little build from last episode, a little lull, and we can hit it again hard in the last two, with this big competition all set up and squared away. We squared away all the loose threads. Kabe's done. Kito's done. Nanami's stuck where she is. Yeah. Cool. Cute. Nope, no additions that I noticed in the ED. Well, hey. This was pretty cool. It ends up being a tying up a bunch of loose threads episode, and I think that works just fine for the position where it is, for exactly where we've placed it in the show. I talked about this at the beginning, talked about this as we faded out in the end, and I think it's true all the way through. We've got this emotional point, we hold it. We hold it in resonance, right? Because our character has done the overcoming and self-development that we need in order for her to accomplish the goal that she needs to accomplish, so we have to move in that direction. But we do so with resilience, without worry. So we can wrap up Sekitoba Kung Fu and Akabe Taijin with the whole arc that we've done. We can wrap up Pudding Gigi with the whole arc that we've done. And both our characters do both their overcomings, but one of them is complete and one of them is partial. So we complete one so Kabe can come with us, and then we can all go and compete against Azalea directly. That's pretty cool. Every confidence that victory will be yours. I do think titling is really important. I think it's really important. I've grown to think that it's more important as I go along. Nanami continuously closing windows and just like closing herself off from what she wants is hard to watch. I made a joke of it, like, I don't like the light, it burns, I live in the darkness, but that's exactly what she's doing. And I think lines up with some of my experience when I'm feeling really dark. No matter what kind of performance we give, it's meaningless if we're just buying likes. And now, having given away a piece, it becomes easier and easier to give away bigger pieces. Man, it's rough. I think that doing this whole sequence from afar is okay. It's fine. Of course, the first rap battle is much more potent for us, for our story purposes in a lot of ways. This ends up being kind of a side thing. The rap lines themselves are cool, but it's so much smaller and there's so much less put into the sequence. Still, I think they did it something like justice that ended up being really good. And I think more than that was effective for finishing off Kabe's arc. Him finding himself in his actual roots is the hip-hopist, most hip-hop thing. It's the thing. What is that genre? What is that lifestyle? What is that community? And the answer is, it's whatever the little circle on your street corner was. It's your style. It's your community. It's your people, your friends, your ciphers, your style that you've developed competing with them. It's your mode. It's your thing. And going back to that is how you find it again. And that's really cool. Now his I will represent those guys, I will represent those guys, I will represent those guys is cool. The turn that I wanted from him was that I'm a wimpy ordinary Joe through and through, and that's correct. As opposed to I'm wimpy ordinary Joe through and through, but I'll still represent those guys. One is despite, the other is because of, right? I am who I am and that's why I am strong is different from I am who I am and yet I'll still fight. I am who I am, and that's why I'm strong. I am the kid from the streets, etc., etc. Sort of Marshall Mathers making fun of himself, right? I do live in a broke-ass mobile home down in the thing. My mom is a fucking crack whore. Everything is shitty. I don't have any money. I am broke as fuck. Everything sucks. I'm the only white guy in town. What else you got? Because I know all these things already. Tell me something new. Yeah, I suck. I'm still up here rapping. I'm still kicking your ass. Yeah, right? That's the line that I think is the one that I wanted here, and I'm sad that it's not here, even if it's built into the framework of what's here. Still, it's a good overcoming thing, and Sekitoba Kung Fu just totally faceless all the way through. And I love this. Either way, it's excitement I'm trembling with. I think I talked about this earlier in this show, but excited, not nervous is so fucking useful. You can just tell yourself that it's the other one, and it is. And if you tell yourself that it's the other one, then it is. I'm afraid. Yeah, you are. I'm excited. Yeah, you are. You choose. You choose. Even if you're wrong. Even if you're lying. The rhymes are fun. The back and forth is cool. Some of the scenes and shots and movement is pretty cool. None of it is as flashy or awesome as the first one, but it still lands it, I think. I think it still lands it. And we get this established, not just good winnership or good sportsmanship, but like circumventing the voting in order to give the thing to the deserving person is now established as possible. Which means we can use that to compare or contrast with whatever happens with Azalea. Because the same thing might happen there. We've established it here as a proper thing to do. And I think it is a proper thing to do. If you think that the other person is deserving of the thing, to seed a competition is the correct thing to do. To not even leave it up to the vote. But Azalea can't do that because they're not her outfit. They're not Nanami's. So I wonder if they could. And now that we've got it coloring our perceptions from the past, it'll color whatever we do in the future. And that'll be really interesting, I think. I think there are a lot of ways the Azalea thing could go. Nanami, we're building up this pressure on her, and she keeps giving it away and giving it away and giving it away, but we know there's a spark in her. We know she used to be rowdy. We know that it could come back. But she hasn't broached it with her friends, and all of them would feel it too if she were to really broach it. And really try something radical. And by radical, I mean, like, let's play the song that we played at our high school thing, right? Like, let's play one of our songs. Let's play something real. Let me take the mask off and tell my audience that I don't like doing this way. Something radical like that. Something deeply honest like that. And then we can sort of save her soul via Aiko's singing, you know? And that would be really cool. So we get our fun, teary-eyed victory, and that's pretty neat. I like this walk to the thing. I like that the spot is replaced by new musicians. And she goes and she looks, she sees that, feels it, turns away, eyes front, gotta do what I gotta do is pretty powerful. And then into recording we go, and there are some fun tricks that we do to avoid putting the song in. The Bet and Battlefield thing is cute. And then when she actually starts to sing, he gets rocked into another world and realizes, again, in some sense, that this is the same journey, the same push for peace, the same potential of overtaking the world with something great and noble. And that takes us back to Ground Zero, which sets us up for a finale that will actually fulfill the promise of the start of the show. Which is pretty cool for a 12-episode show that's formed out of or cut out of a bigger manga, to find an arc that works and a storyline that actually works and wraps in some sort of compelling and strong way, and is like able to continue moving toward its prime goals and all the prime goals of all the prime characters in a really interesting way, right up to the end. Hopefully finish with a victory or something close to it, both on a financial, fiscal, business level and on an emotional character interaction level, especially with Nanami. Man, that would be really great. So, a bit of a mishmash of an episode, but in every way that I wanted it to be. And I think the perfectly timed little lull to boost us into what's coming next. I expect great things out of the last 2 episodes. That's really, really my expectation. I think we can kind of go all out, and I'm excited to see what that looks like. So come along with me next time for more Koumei and to find out what we can do with a big competition couple of different stages and a whole bunch of people trying to get a whole bunch of votes. See you next week for more. Peace.